Have you ever felt that your biggest obstacles come from within yourself? That your biggest battle is not against the world, but against your own thoughts, fears, and insecurities? What if I told you that the mountain in your path is you? If you can relate, then get ready, because today's video is a true journey of self-knowledge and transformation. Today we're going to talk about one of the most impactful books in the world of personal development, The Mountain is You, by Brianna Wiest. In this book, Wiest not only exposes self-sabotage, but also teaches us how to overcome it in a practical and profound way. Want to know how? Then stay until the end. Before we start, leave your like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any inspiring literary reviews, and click on the link in the description to purchase your copy of The Mountain is You. By subscribing, you support our channel and ensure that more transformative content continues to reach you. Brianna Wiest is an American author and poet widely recognized for her writings on emotional intelligence, mindset, and self-development. Using clear and engaging language, Wiest addresses profound topics in an accessible manner, transforming complex concepts into practical tools that we can apply in our daily lives. The Mountain is You is a work that gets straight to the point, inviting the reader to a sincere dialogue about the internal challenges we face and how to transform them into fuel for personal growth. This is the kind of book that we not only read, but feel deeply. The central concept of The Mountain is You invites the reader to recognize that their greatest obstacles, contrary to what many believe, are internal. Brianna Wiest leads us to see that the mountain we face is not just a metaphor. It is the reflection of everything that prevents us from growing and reaching our potential. This mountain represents our fears, traumas, insecurities, and the narrative we create about who we are. According to Wiest, by understanding that we are, at the same time, the problem and the solution, we acquire the power to re-signify this mountain, transforming it from a barrier into a path. She makes us reflect on how our self-sabotaging and self-excluding behaviors often arise from limiting beliefs and how, out of fear of failure, we create excuses not to act. From this, Wiest challenges us to leave our comfort zone. The idea is revolutionary. Instead of avoiding our fears, we should embrace them as a way of understanding and overcoming what prevents us from moving forward. Wiest dedicates a large space in the book to addressing self-sabotage, exploring its various facets and how it manifests itself in our daily lives. Self-sabotage often disguises itself as precaution or common sense, when in fact it is a mechanism that keeps us paralyzed by fear of change. It is an unconscious process, but it directly affects our ability to achieve our goals. She explains that these sabotaging behaviors can appear as procrastination, a need for perfection, self-censorship, among others. These are strategies that we create to avoid risks, even if this means abandoning our dreams and aspirations. The author takes us on an in-depth analysis of these mechanisms and encourages us to recognize them as responses to fear, but not as true limitations. Wiest makes it clear that, in order to overcome these patterns, we must first identify them and face them head-on, questioning the motivations behind each of these attitudes. Another key point that Brianna Wiest explores is the fear we feel when faced with the idea of change. Change requires courage, a willingness to leave what is comfortable and familiar and embrace the unknown, and this is a challenging task for many of us. She argues that resistance to change is one of the greatest sources of self-sabotage. When we think about change, our brain instinctively reacts with a defense, trying to keep us in a safe environment. This mechanism is an evolutionary inheritance, a form of self-preservation. However, in modern life, it often limits us, preventing us from making the changes necessary for our personal growth. Brianna guides us to change our relationship with fear and, instead of seeing it as something paralyzing, use it as a tool that signals where we need to evolve. It is an invitation to see change not as a risk, but as an opportunity for rediscovery and renewal. For Brianna Wiest, taking personal responsibility is one of the first steps toward overcoming the internal mountain. She argues that when we blame external factors for our problems and frustrations, we are depriving ourselves of the power to change our reality. Personal responsibility involves recognizing that we have an active role in our journey, and that the choices we make, or fail to make, are decisive for our success or failure. This is a challenging point, but essential for growth. By understanding that we are the protagonists of our lives, we empower ourselves to make more conscious decisions that are aligned with our goals. Brianna explores the idea that moments of pain and difficulty are disguised opportunities for learning, and that, instead of running away from these experiences, we should use them to strengthen ourselves. She shares that pain is often what motivates us to make significant changes, and that the greatest lessons come from the most challenging experiences. Each pain brings with it a lesson, and Wiest emphasizes that this process of redefining is essential for those who wish to climb their mountain. From the moment we understand that difficulties are essential parts of our growth, we learn to look at them with gratitude and to use each experience as a source of wisdom. Self-criticism is one of the aspects most discussed by Wiest in the book. We all tend to be excessively critical of ourselves, to the point of limiting ourselves with constant judgments. For her, this is one of the most challenging aspects to overcome, since self-criticism is closely linked to our self-esteem and the way we see ourselves. In the book, she proposes strategies for changing our relationship with self-criticism, transforming it into a voice of self-awareness instead of self-deprecation. She suggests that, by cultivating the habit of questioning our self-critical beliefs, we can weaken this cycle of self-judgment and build a healthier relationship with ourselves. Wiest sees personal boundaries as an essential tool for protecting our emotional health. Often, out of fear of upsetting others, we end up saying yes to everything, putting others' needs above our own. Wiest argues that setting clear boundaries is not just an act of self-protection, but a form of self-respect. By setting boundaries, we are saying yes to ourselves and to what truly matters. This allows us to have the energy and focus to invest in our goals and our mental health. Self-compassion is a practice that Wiest encourages us to adopt in our lives. She explains that in order to overcome the inner mountain, We need to let go of perfectionism and embrace our humanity, understanding that the process of growth is gradual. She suggests self-compassion practices that help us accept failures and learn from them, rather than being rigid and self-critical. This self-compassion approach is essential to developing a positive and resilient mindset that allows us to persist even in the face of difficulties. The great thing about The Mountain Is You is that Wiest doesn't limit herself to theory. She offers us a practical guide to conquering the mountain day after day. Brianna suggests simple practices, such as writing about our feelings, setting clear goals, and meditating to improve focus and mental clarity. These daily practices are designed to help us deal with internal challenges in a constant and transformative way, creating a path that leads us to overcoming them. Brianna Wiest reminds us that the process of acceptance is one of the most important pillars in the journey of personal growth. Accepting reality does not mean conforming, but rather understanding that there are things that are beyond our control and that fighting against them only causes more suffering. This acceptance is, in fact, a starting point for change. When we stop resisting what we cannot change, we begin to invest our energy in what we can transform. Wiest invites us to accept our flaws, limitations, and, most importantly, our ability to evolve. She describes acceptance as a powerful tool for dispelling anxiety and perfectionism, reminding us that we do not need to be perfect to be worthy of love, success, or happiness. This step is fundamental to overcoming the internal mountain, accepting that it is part of who we are, but that it does not define us. By practicing this genuine acceptance, we begin to see our difficulties as opportunities for evolution, rather than threats. Brianna emphasizes that self-knowledge is an ongoing process and that, by being kind and patient with ourselves, we make room for significant changes to occur in an organic and sustainable way. This is the end point, or really, the new beginning of our journey up this mountain. The understanding that the path is not a straight line, but rather a series of conscious choices that we make each day. So, are you ready to climb your own mountain? Are you ready to face this inner journey and turn obstacles into opportunities for growth? Think about the lessons we shared today. Which one resonated with you the most? Leave your comment below. Share your thoughts and experiences. Your opinion is very important to us, and we are always open to hearing what you have to say. This is our space to grow together, so share what you think. Thank you very much for watching the video until the end. If you haven't subscribed yet, take the opportunity to do so now and don't miss any literary reviews that can transform your life. Every subscription counts so that we can continue bringing you valuable content. See you in the next video, where we will continue exploring the fascinating literary world. See you then.